War Eagle War Rapport family, I'm your host, C-Dub, and we have a great show lined up for you tonight. Auburn beats Alabama in Tuscaloosa on the hardwood, and the fellas are all here to discuss that victory, break down the player of the game, discuss tools to the game, and gloat over an amazing Iron Bowl victory on the court. We'll also discuss some guys returning for their final season on the Plains, and we'll definitely break down how we feel about the offensive line moving forward. So you definitely want to hang around for that. But for now, sit back, get your weight up, because tonight we enter the war room.
You are now listening to the War Rapport. Wednesday night War Room. Brought to you by AuburnSport.com. Ike Jones. B. Will. C-Doe. Mike G. Let's go!
War Eagle, everyone. War Eagle, happy Wednesday. Welcome to the latest Wednesday Night War Room, brought to you by our show sponsor, AuburnSports.com. For your latest recruiting needs and other information regarding Auburn athletics, head on over to AuburnSports.com and get your latest sports info fix. Now, shout out to our War Rapport family. Thank you guys for tuning in, hanging out with us live, or you checking us out on replay. We appreciate what you're doing either way, supporting us. Take it a step further. Please be sure to share this video on social media using hashtag #GetYourWeightUp, whether it be Facebook or Twitter. Help spread the word, help others find our content, and let's help us to grow our community and let the War Rapport family grow even stronger. Now, Mike G, tell the people what benefits they get by becoming a patron with the War Rapport.
Listen, you can become a patron. We will send you a bottle of Patron. We'll do a bunch of stuff for our people. So anyway, become a patron, $5.99 a month. You want to do this, trust me. We've got a ton of content going out here in the next year. Make me laugh here. This is off season. So January to July, hardest working content creators in the Auburn hemisphere. So be a part of what we're doing. Get yourself a green name if you're new to the chat and you see everybody has a green name, but you just be a sheep. Get yourself a green name. $5.99. That's how you get there. Listen, we are partnered with the Lee County Humane Society to raise money for a good cause. Donations have slowed down. So we're trying to kick this up for them. You can find the link to this fundraiser in the About section of our YouTube channel. Please click subscribe. Donate. 50 cents on every dollar goes to the Lee County Humane Society to help them hashtag save all the puppies, which is what we're trying to do. Help us help them. We are giving away a t-shirt. This is brought to you by our guy, Walt Taylor at GWT2 Energy Consulting Services. For all your restaurant consulting needs, please visit GWD2energy.com. Hashtag get your weight up in the comments to enter this. We're giving away a He Gone t-shirt. He may be gone, but you got to be here to get the t-shirt. So stick around till the end. We're going to pull at the 1 hour mark for this. The last but not least, we are on podcast, guys. Check us out on podcast, every podcast platform. You may have noticed some extra podcasts going out there this week. We're turning up the heat in the podcast. We're looking for every podcast content creator, and we're going to take them down. We're the War Rapport. It's on. We are starting beef with everybody in the podcast universe. We're trying to rule that too.
That's not where I thought you was going with that at all.
Is that even a thing?
Yes, podcast beef.
Yeah, playing Battleship.
We're gonna have a podcast.
We're gonna 50 Cent our way to the top.
Yeah, old school rap battles. Podcast beef.
Well, listen, let's not even waste any time.
Hey, we got an actual rapper right here. He gets it.
What up, man?
What's up, man?
Hey, go check him out at We All About the AU on Instagram. He's got a really robust Instagram page there, and he's keeping us informed on the going-ons and happenings of 19-year-olds. So
Hey, Rogue Apothecary in the place too, man.
Oh, all right. Yes.
Oh,
Yes. Yeah,
We'll talk about that soon.
yeah, we'll talk about that soon.
support these
Talk about
guys
that
doing
soon.
big thing. I need to sign up. I'm not. Yeah, you
Yeah,
do.
you gotta
yeah,
get
you
your
do.
green
You
name.
need. You
Yes.
need to
I
do
mean,
that.
you know,
You
low
need to
key,
do-
Hey,
low
gotta
key,
get the
man, easy.
green.
Got to get him a green name too,
Gotta get
though.
the
You know what I'm
green.
saying?
Gotta
Ah,
get the green.
I
Oh,
like that.
for
Okay.
really. For
Anyway,
really. All right. Listen. Let's get to it. Auburn
hold on.
basketball.
We have to
Hold on.
pause the entire show for just a minute
What happened?
because somebody just said something that it has to be acknowledged here for just a
Oh, I
moment.
missed it, man.
Yeah,
What
this
time
is fact.
this now? Yeah,
This
let
is
me
a
know.
fact.
You know, since we talking about lyrics,
I mean,
and everything, yeah,
but
Hey, established like 1998 as far as Ike being a dope lyricist.
you knew that. We knew that.
I mean, but you know, it was in the chat. I just had to look, you know, just because somebody said, I need to make sure we acknowledge it that it
Listen,
happened.
man. Listen, we all need our information. Get yours, man.
Yeah.
Don't let me get in the way. My
Yeah.
bad. Don't let
Anyway,
me,
back
get
to the
that-
show. This ain't
Let me get the
about
heck out the way so you can get that. All right. Auburn crane kicked Bama up and down the court last night to the tune of
Yeah.
81 to 77,
Yeah,
and
man.
I am
Crane
here
kick.
for all of it.
The cream kick.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It felt good. I know they enjoyed themselves. And shout out to Auburn Twitter.
Unstoppable.
Unstoppable.
I
They unstoppable.
undefeated. They may be undefeated. This is just. It was a thing of beauty just watching them troll Alabama's Twitter as they posted the results of the game. Is the memes
Was waiting. Like you
I-
knew Bama Twitter knew it was coming. Here's the problem. You know Bama Twitter is probably some like 22-year-old, right? And he's on Twitter enough, or he or she's on Twitter enough to know, all right, I know I need to post this score, but I know it's gonna be terrible when I post this score. Do I want to do this? I promise you they had that prepped and ready to go for like at least 5 minutes before they hit.
Yeah,
They knew it. They knew it was
man.
coming. But what you gonna do? Not post it? Then you running from it. Now you look scared. Nah, just post the score. It was amazing, man. I'm so proud. I'm so proud.
Yeah, man. Listen, the fans have voted. It was almost just a runaway.
Yeah.
Pretty obvious who this player of the game was, but you know, we gotta do the formalities. Jabari Smith, 25 points, 7 boards, an assist, 2 steals, and 4 big blocks in 34 minutes. Played a lot this game. We needed every minute of his contribution in this game. He showed up, guys. I think this was his season high.
Yeah.
And the talks of him being a top 3 pick, top 5 pick, maybe number 1 pick, he looked like it in this game. It came full center. Ike, your thoughts about his big game, man?
Listen, you know, if you guys aren't following what I'm doing with Prize Picks, I did actually predict that he would probably have a big game this game because I was like, listen, that's the first rivalry matchup on the road. I think Jabari is going to show up big. I predicted that before the game. He looked good from the very beginning, man. Like he was confident. Man, I think the thing that I loved the most about Jabari's game last night was what he did defensively. He really showed up defensively throughout the entirety of the game, and we needed that with Walker Kessler getting into foul trouble, which we'll talk about that in the foul trouble situation. But Jabari, man, literally in every facet, right? Like ISO stuff, he was giving them buckets. Transition, giving them buckets. Spotting up in the corner, giving them buckets. Like he just, driving to the lane, giving them buckets. Like he was just doing work. And then again, defensively, he was giving whoever he was on trouble. He had the 2-hand block at the rim that was amazing. That he took it off the backboard, 2 hands, and then went the length of the floor with a little lefty finish. So look, man, complete game from him. And big players showing up in big moments is what you expect to see out of a guy who's been as highly touted as he is, and he's worth every bit of it. Worth every bit of it.
Thoughts, B, Mike?
Listen, it was impressive. On the road, Bruce Pearl admitted that we may have been a little fatigued going into that one. So, he did what good coaches do, and he managed the practices in between. I think they backed off a little bit, give those guys a little bit more rest. I think it showed up in a hard-fought game in the fourth quarter. And Auburn is deep. This team is deep.
Yeah.
You don't get a break. I thought that Dylan Cartwell stepped in well for Walker Kessler. He had some huge putbacks in that game, just kind of dominating around the rim. It wasn't like a totally clean game for him, but like, I liked I liked the energy that he brought when he got in the game. And what can be said that hasn't been said already about Jabari Smith? Earlier this season, we did a presser with Bruce Pearl, and he talked about how Jabari Smith is just not scared of the moment.
Yeah.
Right. He hit a huge corner three.
Yeah.
Just big time shots. He's just not afraid he's got ice in his veins, man. It's insane. So finding a generational talent, and then pairing that with a generational coach is a championship mixture, man. Wow. I've been really impressed with how Bruce Pearl has managed this team. Every week, it seems like there's somebody who steps up and fills in. Right. But let's be clear. Wendell Green and Jabari Smith carried this team offensively in this game.
Factual.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah. They carried this team offensively. It was fun to watch. And there's something to be said about winning, facing a little bit of adversity and winning. Because come tourney time, that's going to pay dividends. The team that blows everybody out all season and it gets to the tourney usually gets wrecked by the Sweet 16.
Because they don't know how to handle those moments.
Yeah, right. This team is winning I'm not sure what type of game they haven't won yet.
Yeah.
Right? So they've won dominating games from start to finish. They've won games where they've started slow and had to come from behind, right? They've won games where, they played pretty good all the way through and just had to hold on for dear life on the road. I mean, technically the only game we lost was a neutral court game. We're undefeated at home and on the road. Man, this team is just made of winners, man. I'm just, wow.
Yeah, we're undefeated in regulation, too. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It takes overtime to beat this team so far.
That's it.
So far.
Yeah, you need more time. That's what beats us.
I like that. I like Jazzy Joe as well. War Eagle, y'all. Back, he's been on vacation, but he's back. How about them Tigers, y'all?
Yeah, be like Jazzy.
Who? I can't say the word. I can't. My mouth. The way my mouth. Yeah, I can't say it. But yes, great win by the good fellas. B.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? How does it feel to know that one of the best players in college basketball, you don't even need 25 points every night, but when you need it, he's ready to deliver. He's on time with. Like, how does it feel to have that luxury with this team?
It feels like a luxury. I mean, I'm going to make a comparison to football because honestly, I was very tentative back in 2010 watching Cam because I was like, oh man, are we gonna lose this? Every time I look back at that season, I go, I should have enjoyed that more. I should have been nervous going into games. I should have felt like we're feeling right now, knowing that we got the coach in Bruce Pearl. We have several players who are excellent in their roles. And then we've got the ultimate ace in Jabari Smith, 6'10". I'm just put him on the corner. Let him post somebody up. Or he can just stand in the corner while Wendell Green's doing this thing, or while him and Walker Kessler, if the refs let him stay on the court,
right? While
Green and Walker Kessler running their pick and rolls, it's cool. You're going to overcommit somebody, hit him in the corner for a three. We've been moving the ball. The confidence, man. I wish basketball is more fickle than football. It is. Basketball is more fickle. Somebody can have enough of an off game while somebody else is in foul trouble, and you can get got. What you hope is that by the time you hit the tourney, full cylinders, we're not just going to have these blind off games. And in our 2019 run, was that 2019? Was it 2018?
What year was this?
Why can I not keep up with years?
What year was this? What you were talking about? What happened?
Final Four run.
2019.
19.
That's what I thought. 2019. So 2019, I had no idea that we were going to be that good every game. I remember thinking, man, Chuma went down. That's it. That's it, man. We're done. And they kept winning. They beat better teams after they lost arguably their best player. It's what Bruce does to these guys. And this time, I'm not taking it for granted. I'm going into games expecting us to win, expecting some wild circumstances to be the only reason we have a chance at losing. And the refs will provide some wild circumstances. They'll make sure to do that. But it's an amazing feeling knowing not only do you have the coach, but you got the dudes. We've got the dudes. Now, we have not played any other teams who have the dudes yet. And that is the biggest issue. That is the biggest concern for me going forward is how do we defend when we play against a team that has a dude as well. Jabari may be the best prospect, but he is not the only outstanding college player right now that has pro aspirations. Now, I'm not saying we see those guys in conference, but turning time, we'll see a couple more of them. And I am tentatively very excited for that matchup, but it feels good, man. I'm enjoying this. I'm not gonna wait until we hit the Sweet 16 to get excited. Like I'm excited every time we hit the court now, and that's a good feeling.
What school has a dude?
Yeah,
I was. They just lost, but they got a couple.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Jabari might be the dude this year. I mean, I'm trying to think of a single other player, and I've been following college
Baylor and
basketball
Gonzaga both have dudes.
Like, yeah, and I'm just like, are they this good?
Well, so the difference is like Jabari's not the only dude on our team. For those other teams, it's like a really, really good player and a lot of complementary pieces and some good pieces, but I'm not trying to say everybody else is trash on their squads, but like it's clear that they have a dude. We've got a dude and then a couple of other dudes. Yeah. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't stop at Jabari. Because again, Jabari scored 10 points the other night.
Yeah, he can have off night. Yeah. He can have off night.
And we win. We go away easily. Like we win easily. So it's not like he has an off night and we struggle. So let me go run through some super chats real quick. Brian says Patron for a patron. I guess Mike doesn't want to share his Blantons. I don't blame you, Mike.
No, that is $130 a bottle here. You might have to be my best friend to share some of that.
Are we number one in the next ranking? Baylor lost. And a 2 and 3 got postponed, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't understand these NET rankings. That we didn't move in the NET after that win. So does that mean that
just means they don't respect Bama?
Bama, right? Yeah, that's what they got. Right. That's what that has to mean. Yeah. I didn't really understand it, but whatever. At the end of the day, I think that they raised some eyebrows, and it would be hard not to give this team. I would be surprised. They should be getting number one votes in the next poll if we don't lose between now and then. I would be shocked.
No, if we beat Ole Miss this weekend, top 2 for sure. I just can't see them not saying we're not one of the best 2 teams in the country.
Let me ask you this: how tougher do these games get now that we're being propped up as
everybody's giving their best?
You know what I'm saying? How much tougher did because Ole Miss has trap game written all over it. They've given some teams a hard time this year, and it's just a perfect setup for them. So. Yeah, Auburn has to continue to win, but boy, these games get a lot more challenging.
Yeah, that's when you're happy you have one of the best coaches in the country.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because he will know how to manage the weight of that expectation every 3 to 4 days. Right. Because you are going to get everybody's best shot. And it's not like football where you get a whole week off between games. And, it's a couple nights you're back on the road, in a hostile environment. And every team wants to be the team that takes you out.
Yeah.
So that's it. Yeah. If you have championship aspirations, you want that smoke though, because you cannot get to the Final Four without doing it.
Yeah.
In 2019, we beat the 3 winningest programs in college basketball history in succession.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. North Carolina got that smoke. Kansas got that smoke. Kentucky got that smoke. Right. And Virginia got that smoke too, but the double dribble. And
I was about to say we need to make sure we put it up there for that.
Obviously,
let me hold on. Let me do it again without the
look at it. Look at what happened You touched it with your other hand and you moved this double dribble. Damn it. So I'm the most interesting part of this to me will be hearing, the things that Bruce Pearl says and, how he manages this team's mentality from night to night. Right. He seems to have everybody ready. Again, we were in our private chat during the game. I was like, what happened? Where did KD Johnson go during this game? Now, he made his presence felt, but, he made some big shots. He made a couple of big shots, but for the most part, he did not have a scoring impact on this game. And I think 1 for 5 from 3.
Game. Yeah, he had a good game. Yeah, he had a decent scoring game.
He had 13.
Yeah, that's 13. What I'm saying. Yeah,
yeah. See,
it was a quiet 13. But again, when you look at what Jabari's doing, like no one's doing that outside of what Wendell was doing. So
yeah, it just felt to me like he was having a tough night, like a real tough night, And so the having Kessler get in foul trouble. I hate doing this, but I'm going to do it. The refs tried their hardest.
Oh no, we definitely need to talk about this.
Well, we'll talk about. Let's do this. Let's talk. Let's reintroduce and keep it consistent with our other live show. Let's talk tools of the game. Let's talk tools of the game. And for me, my tool to this game is clutch free throw shooting.
Talk about it.
In the final moments.
Yeah.
With the game tied up, Alan Flanagan, I mean, it's not like he'd been in a rhythm hitting free throws throughout the game. These were his first free throws of the game.
Yeah.
Ice cold 4 for 4. The reason why that's so significant is that for the game, Auburn was shooting 63%. We were shooting bad.
Jabari missed 2 big ones.
He was 6 to 10. He was 6 to 10.
That, 2 in a row at the end of the game. He missed.
KD was trash from the line for the most part. He went to the line a lot, but he missed a couple of big. Well, I ain't gonna say he was trash. He missed a couple of big ones. KD's not a great free throw shooter, surprisingly, but it was a rough night. And Bama shot out of their mind from the free throw line. Like
80-some%.
They are like on the season, they're in the mid 70s, and they were close to 90% last night. I was like, when did this free throw shooting team arrive? Like,
right. So for me, and again, like one of the things that B mentioned is we hope that that doesn't become something that bites us down the road when we need efficient free throw shooting and it lets us down, right? Last night that was not the case, and big ups to Flanagan for coming through and hitting those big time clutch free throw shots.
Yeah, man.
B Will, what do you got a tool to the game? What was something you saw that stuck out to you?
My tool to the game was the 3-point shot and how terrible it was for Alabama.
Yeah,
that's it. They live and die by it, man. And I've said it before, heaving them. And they were not hitting them for the most part. They went on a little run where they started hitting a couple. And then God bless the kid, whoever it was in the corner, had a chance at another one and completely froze up.
I still don't understand how he doesn't pull the trigger on
that. I think it looked to me like he might have caught the ball funny. Like,
you know what, bro?
It wouldn't have been a clean
basketball, dog.
Wendell Green is all of 5'7", right? 5'6". He caught the ball in the corner in the first half. Second half, it was the second half because it was going the opposite direction. He caught the ball in the second half in the corner, took a second, waited for the closeout to arrive, and then still shot a 3 over the top of a closeout. If you just gotta have the balls to take the shot, bro.
You got it or you don't, man.
The closeout's coming. Who cares? You block it.
That's tough.
Block it.
And the shot that led to what will be an amazing meme for the rest of the season, where he's dusting himself off and then he looks into the camera. That shot, I'm thinking,
if y'all believe that man is 5'10", I don't know what to tell you. He is not 5'10".
He's not 5'10".
5'7". He is taller than Jared Harper. I give him 5'9", but he's not 5'6".
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I was like, no, don't shoot that. Ooh.
Yeah.
You know, that happened a lot with Green last night. Like he's different.
Yeah,
he's different.
He's
really different. Let me run through some super chats real quick. James Stallings, hey guys, love the show. Can you smell it? Top team in the
close.
country.
I can't smell close. It's faint, but I smell it.
Yeah. Corey Weber. Knowing what we know, who would start at the 4?
This is a really good question. I saw it when he posted this. It's a really good question.
Wow.
Jabari, hands down.
Gotta go, Jabari.
I gotta go. I gotta go, Jabari.
I would put those other guys at the 3 if I had the choice to, right?
Yeah.
And I would let Jabari just because of size. Jabari, you know, he's legit 6'10". So you put him at the 4, and you put one of those other guys at the 3. Could you imagine?
Okoro was a good shooter as well too. I mean, Okoro hit some big time threes.
Okoro was a streaky shooter. He's not a good shooter.
He was a timely shooter.
But can you imagine a lineup that included like a 2 guard of Okoro, a 3 of Chuma, and a 4 of Jabari? Because listen, if they all stay to their senior season,
which is wild to think about,
and you had Sharif Cooper,
well, then we wouldn't have Wendell Green running the point.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm just saying.
I'm a Wendell over Sharif.
Listen,
guy.
Wendell is coming off the bench though. It's not you.
You got Wendell coming off the.
That's
you lose some defense.
That's mind games. That's mind games, bro.
It's dream team is what it is.
That's crazy. It is crazy. Like I don't know, man. But yeah, Jabari's that guy at the 4, man.
He's on Jabari's game is just how do you defend that? That's why I would have to put him in. That's the hard thing about it, right? Like if you put somebody tall enough on him that can bother him on the face up, they're usually not quick enough to stay with him off the dribble. Right. If they're quick enough to stay with him off the dribble, he could just face him up and shoot over the top whenever he wants to. He's got the face up game, and he's got that little turnaround that, you know, he'll get you into about 10, 8 feet and just hit a turnaround. Like it's just his game is so smooth.
He can get buckets whenever he wants to. You have to get the ball out of his hand. You have to.
Right.
Yeah. Ike, talk to me, man. You had a tool to the game?
I think for me, it's gonna be just the intensity that the bench gave us. Like we needed the bench. We already talked about specifically how Walker Kessler was taken out of this game. I actually was surprised that we didn't give very many minutes. I thought we were going to see Stretch a little bit in this game with Kessler playing so few minutes. But the bench, the intensity that they came with off of the bench was, Wendell Green, of course, he doesn't feel like a player that comes off the bench because of the kind of minutes he gives you. But him coming off the bench, Cartwell coming off of the bench, Jalen Williams coming off of the bench, like all of them gave quality. Flanagan started this game, which has not been typical. This is the first game I think he started all season, but typically he's coming off of the bench. But the bench intensity, I think, is what separates this team from everybody else. 1 through 5, there are a lot of teams who can play with this. 1 through 10, I can't think of very many, right? And so the bench was really crucial for me in this game, just in stemming whatever kind of momentum Alabama tried to bring. We had a remedy for it.
Yeah. Mike?
Brian said how bad Alabama shot the 3. For me, it was perimeter defense. I think we had a lot to do with why they shot so bad from 3.
Yeah,
right?
They talked about that a lot on the broadcast.
Yeah.
Like we were just staying attached. We was like, all right, you could drive. That's fine.
They were running them off the 3-point line, and the threes that they did hit. Look how deep they had to pull up. I mean, Shackelford pulled up from pretty deep on a couple, but those aren't super high percentage shots he was taking. And then they just kept doing it. And Isaac has talked about how they're kind of a streak shooting team. So it sucks when you go cold.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I'll tell you, our 2019 team was one of the best shooting teams I've seen. I mean, they would give up wide open layups to shoot threes. It's just tough for you when you go cold and you live. I mean, what was their stat? It was like 6 for 33 or something from 3, Bama.
I got it right here.
It was low.
Let me look at it.
It was really low. I mean, it was
7 of 31.
7 of 31. Wow. Like, I mean, 2 more of those shots potentially wins you the game. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was a tough game, and they definitely died by the 3 there, I thought. So, I thought that Auburn gave up exactly what they wanted to give up in that game, and then it worked. And we had the horses down the stretch, and they just did not. So, if Walker Kessler doesn't get in foul trouble, if they don't call the game like they called it, I think we beat them by 15. But the way the game was called, like I thought that it took us out of rhythm at key points because the game started to get away from Bama there for a second. We went over.
Yeah, they were
10
down by
points.
like 14.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and just the way the game was called, I thought it was very favorable to Bama to get them back in it and keep them in it. And how many? I don't know how many minutes did Kessler finish with. I mean, it
12.
felt. Yeah, I mean,
it was very
Felt
few.
like nothing.
Yeah, man. He's a difference maker around the rim.
He did not have a good game though overall.
He did not.
Yeah.
He did not.
So I don't know.
He got posterized. I mean, he just did not have a great. I mean, he was
nasty.
Because he was in foul trouble, his defense took a hit. He couldn't be as aggressive, and so
that was actually the problem though. He was being too aggressive defensively and trying to get shot blocks, and it's like it's almost as if the last two games he came in saying, "Oh yeah, I'm this defensive eraser. I'm going to block everything." And it's like you did this well the first however many games of the season without getting in foul trouble because you were using good timing and you weren't leaving your feet too quickly.
Right.
And he's just a little too anxious to come on the shot block sometimes, especially when he's in the one-on-one defensive situation. Right now, people aren't going to just try to go straight up over the top of you. They realize you're a really good shot blocker. You've got to figure out how to do that without fouling. Even though some of the times he got called for fouls, they weren't real fouls, right?
Yeah.
Like it's crap.
Right.
Like when I ain't gonna lie, when he got dunked on, he didn't even touch the dude.
Right. He literally didn't touch him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a ghost foul.
I hate college refs, man. Being for real here, this was one of the reasons college basketball was one of my least favorite sports. It's the weirdest thing. If you watch pro ball, refs attempt to get the call right. They try. College ball, it's this weird thing where like, you look like you might have been too close foul. Like that's not what you're calling. You're not calling proximity here. You're supposed to be calling contact. But it doesn't have to make contact. It's the weirdest thing that college refs, and they all do it. It depends on who's at home that night. It depends on who's got the momentum. It's like they're waiting for a team to make a push so they can call fouls on the team that's ahead. Right. I have no idea why it's like that, but it's really hard to watch when it's against your team.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it was really bad. Somebody mentioned this in the comments. It went by so quickly. I do 100% need Zeb Jasper to figure out how to dribble without pushing off with his off arm. Like he's gotten back-to-back games.
He didn't have a good game either.
Yeah, but he can't. He's too good a defensive player to give up like cheap offensive fouls like that take him out of the rotation. So he needs to figure that out. Indeed.
Got a few more people to highlight and talk about before we come back from the break, but we're going to pause and acknowledge the sponsors of the war. Before we do that, be sure to get those thumbs up and like this video. Those of you who are watching live, man, if you're engaging with us, if you haven't been commenting, or if you're commenting, smash that like button while you're here. Please do the necessary. It helps us out a ton. Let's now pause for the sponsors of the War Rapport.
The War Rapport's Wednesday Night War Room is brought to you by our generous sponsors. AuburnSports.com. For news and notes on all things Auburn sports, head over to AuburnSports.com. University Ace Hardware, located at 2101 East University Drive in Auburn, Alabama, right across the street from the Auburn Mall and next to the movie theater. For all of your hardware needs, Ace is the place. And our giveaway sponsor, GWT2 Energy. If you want the best in the business at restaurant logistics, check out our friends at GWT2Energy.com.
Hey, become a patron. This is a great way to support our content. For a low $5.99 a month, you can help keep the War Rapport financially viable and growing. We're growing our community every day, as well as the content that we provide almost daily now. So I don't think there's a day of the week that we don't put out a video at this point. So January to July, hardest working content creators out here bringing you entertainment, information, and community. So become part of that community, become a patron. You can join from our YouTube channel. Just look for that join button. If you're on an iPhone, you may not see it. So you got to use YouTube in browser mode from Safari, and you'll see that button. But sign up easiest done from a computer. We are partnered with the Lee County Humane Society to raise money for a good cause. You can find the link to this fundraiser in the About section of our YouTube channel. 50 cents on every dollar donated goes to the Lee County Humane Society to help them in their mission to hashtag save all the puppies. We care about the puppies here at the War Rapport, so you should too. Donate today. Help us help them save all the puppies. We're giving away a t-shirt. Hashtag get your weight up in the comments to enter. At the 1 hour mark, we will draw. So the shirt says he gone, but you must be here to win the t-shirt. So hashtag get your weight up. This is brought to you by GWT2 Energy Consulting Services for all your restaurant consulting needs. If you want to figure out how to squeeze more money out of that business, hit up Walt at gwt2energy.com. We are on podcasts. Listen, we're out here trying to dominate these podcast streets. So if you haven't noticed, we have put out more content on podcasts. I think we did it Thursday, Friday, Saturday last week. And so we got even more coming at you guys. Check out that some of our interview segments that we've done, the special segments that we do when we cover breaking news, such as Calzada committing. You can go listen to that in podcast form. I know that's a little bit more car friendly. It's chore friendly. Check us out on all the podcast platform. That's Apple, Spotify, Podbean, SoundCloud. We're everywhere. We're doing it.
Appreciate that, sir. Let's get back to it. And one of the guys, we already mentioned him earlier, but I definitely want to highlight the game he had and how important he was given that Kessler was out. Let's talk about Dylan Cartwell. Did a great job in terms of rebounding, playing around the basket, but it was his defense that stood out to me, and a very key block at the end of the game, which pretty much sealed it for Auburn. Talk to me, man, about Dylan and the type of game he had last night, coming in for Kessler, who was in foul trouble throughout.
Yeah, so here the thing about Dylan Cartwell that I liked a lot last night, that I have not seen in previous games, he didn't seem to get as fatigued in this game for whatever reason. Like, in the game just before
Florida,
Coach was talking about how, players seemed like they were gassed, and Dylan Cartwell was one of those guys. He looked tired because he was playing more minutes because, again, Walker Kessler was in foul trouble. He seemed to have the energy necessary to finish this game, as indicated by that late block, right? Like he found it somewhere last night. He had two really good putback dunks. Almost had a third putback that he had there. Like, he just played really good on the offensive glass. Defensively, he was rotating really well. When they were doing a lot of those high ball screens, he was showing really well out front to make sure that they pushed that out further. Like, he just did a really good job of knowing what he needed to do and then keeping himself out of foul trouble, right? Like, he wasn't trying to block everything that was coming to the rim. He had one, the flagrant foul that they called on him. Definitely a foul. So let me not pretend like he didn't hit the dude in the head. Was not a flagrant one. Let's calm down. Like, you're talking about, the wind up. He was just trying to recover quickly, and he was looking to try to swipe over the guy's head to hit the ball. So I don't know about that being a flagrant one, whatever for that. But yeah, I think he did a pretty good job. Yeah. Think he did a pretty good job.
Yeah. Mike G, talk to me, man. Talk about the job he did and how important he was, because we needed a rim protector, seeing as though Kessler was not really effective in the game due to foul trouble. So your thoughts on Cartwell?
Hey, listen, man, 4 blocks. Right. We've got the nation's leading blocker on our team. He came in and filled in admirably for him. So those blocks were critical, particularly the one at the end that kept that from being interesting.
Right.
Right. So he pulls up and just hit the reach and the athleticism to be able to block a 3-point shot and not get anywhere near the shooter is pretty amazing. Yeah. So, like, it wasn't an almost foul. He didn't put the game at risk by fouling the dude. I thought it was an underrated play. I think most people will never realize how amazing it is to be able to block a shot like that. So Cardwell was instrumental, and it just speaks to depth, right? I mean, I think that is the thing that, when we look back on this season and we talk about this team, it's going to be about how many guys contributed in meaningful ways. So it is not just one guy carrying the squad, right? It is, if my brother's down tonight, chill out, we got this, right? And the trust that this team has in each other, right? The unselfishness, they give the ball up, right? Like, I mean, it's a thing of beauty to watch. Bruce Pearl said this was his most talented team ever. And, you know, some coaches say that and it's lip service, but, you know, for a coach of his stature, you know, for him to say that, you know, and then see this come to fruition, it was like, oh yeah, like he meant that. This might be his. He wasn't gassing us. This might actually be his best team ever.
I mean, and he's coached some. I mean, I thought it was lip service because he's coached some really good teams, like over the course of his career between Auburn, Tennessee, and so yeah, for him to say that, I was like, really, Bruce? But I'm starting to become a believer.
He's got one more win to tie the 07-08 Tennessee Volunteers that he coached to a 16-1 start. Right, that was the best start of his career, and if they can get to 17-1, this will be the best start of his career.
Right.
Yeah, man. I saw a question. I'm a toss this question to you, B. Will. Lawrence is asking, what do we think of the small lineup with Jalen Williams at the 5? Auburn brought that out at one point. So what do you think about playing the small ball and how we looked out there?
I think it was out of necessity because you got to rest Cartwell with Kessler being in foul trouble. So you've got to put smaller guys on the court, and you've got to. I'm surprised they played Jabari 34. We needed it, and I'm glad we got it out of him. He was still effective the whole game, but
yeah,
when Wendell's out there running the point, we're good. We don't have a lot of consistent 3-point shooting on the floor, and that is perhaps our biggest weakness. We don't need it as long as we have an entire complement of players. When he has been getting better inside with his hands, finishing at the rim as the season has gone on, and that's something I really like to see. So I'm not so worried that we don't have great 3-point shooting, but the problem is going to come, I think, later in the season when Kessler's in foul trouble. Cartwell's hands aren't great. He has some good finishes, but his hands aren't great. So you're not going to be able to just run the pick and roll and lob it up to him or expect him to just, you know, give it to him on the bounce and have him make move. That's not really his game. So I think the small ball thing may become more necessity as people just attack Kessler and try to get him off the floor. And we're left with Cartwell, who needs to be spelled so he can stay rested for the rest of the game, or if they put him in foul trouble, because college refs are terrible. So going with the small lineup, there was a point where the offense stalled out just a little bit. We talked about what each of the, like Cambridge, he can't take anybody off the dribble. That's not his game. He wants to sky up over somebody and eliminate them from existence with the oop, and that is honestly what we need him doing. But our smaller players do not have off the dribble game. Jalen Williams, he will drive, not a lot of control, but he will ferociously attack the basket. But it's still, we don't have a synchronous offense when Kessler and Jabari are not on the floor, or we look for it more. Flanagan's starting to get into shape, and I think we'll have one more once he kind of rounds into full speed like we want him to be. Again, we got to finish incorporating everybody. We still haven't really done that, but the small lineup can work. It's got to be centered around Flanagan as much as Wendell. It's not going to be anybody else. We need the bigs to have a full complement. Jabari is really the eraser. Like, you don't really have to run an offense for Jabari to do his thing, and that's why he's the most valuable offensive piece we have. Him at the 5 is still a great lineup. Without him or Kessler on the floor, I start to worry if it was a long stretch of time. But fortunately, we're deep, and we probably won't have to worry about that much.
Stuart Donald has a question. This is for all of you guys. I was listening to some talking heads today, and they said Auburn has played the second toughest schedule so far this year. What do you guys think about that?
I'm not sure about that stat. I know that there's a metric called strength of record, and Auburn is number 1. As far as strength of schedule is concerned, I think we're like 15 or 14. It's a top 20 schedule, so it's not a cupcake schedule by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm not sure it's the hardest schedule in the country.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest and say I don't look at anybody else's schedule, so I wouldn't have a way of gauging that. I know we've played a pretty tough schedule. Our out of conference games have not been cream puffs for the most part. Even if they weren't highly ranked teams, they were definitely tough teams to be able to play. Teams that you expect to see in the tournament when the tournament comes around. And then you get into SEC play, and it's going to be a dogfight every game. So yeah, I mean, I could believe it, but I don't know whether or not it's harder than anybody else's schedule. I mean, we haven't played a Gonzaga like Bama did, but we also didn't lose to Davidson. So
or Memphis,
yeah,
or Missouri.
Yeah. The thing about those wins and losses, man, it's hard to. You have to account for teams that get better as the season goes along as well too. So it's the team you were at the beginning of the season may not be the team that you are in the middle and at the end of the season. So that can't be understated, right? Like it looks like I don't know that Bama is progressively getting worse. I just think they weren't as good as people thought they were.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
You know,
I think it was coming off of last year. They were like, oh, they're returning these guys, and they got, JD Davidson's gonna be coming in, and like it was hype. Which again, I'm not saying that Bama's a bad team. I'm saying that Bama doesn't play for 40 minutes in a basketball game.
Right.
They just don't.
Right.
But Auburn is clearly getting better every week.
Yes.
This team is getting better every week. And I think that is evidenced by the fact that they don't even have to play their best game to win, all-around game to win.
Right.
Most games.
And that, again, I said this last show. That's pretty much that's the thing that should absolutely terrify everyone who has to play Auburn by the time March gets here. I still have not seen this team play their best basketball for 40 minutes. Like the stretch of time where they got up to 14-point lead against Bama, if they can make that 20 to 30 minutes of a game, just good luck. I mean, just good luck beating that team, because it was everything was coming together. Wendell Green was making shots. The split that he made on the double team, where that was the ball screen.
Man, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
And then he finishes the wrong hand on the left side
On the
with the, he makes the little fake and then finishes, right hand on the left side of the rim. He's just special, man. And he comes back with the, the step back J after that. He tried to get a little heat check after that and shoot another one. That's the one thing again that I don't like about Wendell is every now and then he's just gonna be like, let me see how much I got, and he's just gonna jack up one. He's just gonna pull up in transition and shoot another one. Like he got a little of that,
but
he got that Steph Curry confidence without the Steph Curry consistency to shooting it.
He does, but if that's the cost of the rest of them shots he does,
listen, I'm not mad at it at all. I'm not mad at it at all because the boy just will come out.
You hit enough of them, you can get away with that.
Yeah,
and then he's quietly getting away with that. Because that was something I complained about earlier in the season, but I mean, dude kept leading us in scoring, so I had to shut up about it, right? So this team is special. Michael Holiday, appreciate the super chat, says Mike G is the man. It says Auburn will win every game if they come and play like they should. I expect this team to make it to the Final Four.
Yeah, there's no game we can't win.
Yeah,
I don't see a game that they cannot win, that they don't have a chance in. Right? Like
absolutely should be in every single game we play.
They should compete. Yeah, if we don't win, it's probably because we didn't show up. But I mean, honestly, I think that they are the only ones that could be their own worst enemy. And for all the greats, your greatest competition is yourself. Right? Like you are. It's just you and everybody else. And I think this team has a kind of attitude.
I like what he's Jabari saying, that the team's getting more camaraderie. Like we talk about chemistry, with the football team as to whether or not the quarterback has chemistry with the offensive line and the wide receivers. The basketball team, the synergy that needs to be there for the unselfishness that you see from a Jabari, the trust that you see a coach having Wendell and KD to just jack up shots every now and then and not yank them out of the game because they know, as Jeremy Redding says, a shooter's got to shoot. Right, like if you're gonna live with him taking a step back three and then it's a highlight play, you gotta sometimes live with him coming down and jacking up a three in transition, or KD going through his legs 4 times and then just pulling up off of the dribble, because every now and then you're going to need him to cook somebody like that. And he's going to need to be able to have the confidence to say, I can go out there and shoot this shot and coach isn't going to pull me out of the game, because he knows the defensive intensity that I'm going to have if I miss the shot is going to be like 10 times more ferocious, because I'm going to be mad at myself. So I got to make it up for my guys. And that's KD all the way. He's like, if I miss a shot, I need a steal now. Like, I got to do something else to contribute to this basketball game, because I feel like I let them down. The chemistry in which they are playing with, and the understanding that this guy's got my back, or I trust that if he's shooting this shot, he can make that shot. I've seen him make this shot in practice. I've seen him, put this guy on a poster before. When he goes to the rim, I'm just waiting to see a poster happen. That's the kind of stuff that makes it, again, a scary basketball team to play against, because you can have all the talent in the world without the confidence. Listen, JQ for Bama, he's a good 3-point shooter. He didn't have the confidence to pull the trigger in that moment.
Right.
The talent does not matter if you don't have the confidence to take the shot.
And that's the Bruce Pearl difference. I saw it was a writer somewhere that quoted it. I've said it on the show for the last 2 weeks. He said the ability for Bruce to get coach confidence into his players is the biggest difference between him and other coaches. I still have never seen anything like it. I've seen tentative and talented young freshmen get into the tournament and kind of be on autopilot, like they're individual scorers, so they score, but nothing like the team playing together the way that this team is doing. And maybe one of the differences is that instead of just a bunch of young freshmen like Calipari usually does, or like Duke kind of ended up doing, for the last few years, is we've got some seasoned vets. We've got guys who have been starting for 2 years. We've also got young freshmen. We've got transfers who have been playing well where they were at. We've got transfers from KD in Georgia who's been here, who feels a specific emotional role. It's just this mishmash of guys, but they seem to be able to get on the same page, and that's the Bruce difference. Like, you could put these same guys on a team under Rick Barnes, but it wouldn't be the same thing. Mm-hmm. It's like, you're a 1980s coach, and by golly, and bend down, get low. Yeah, but Bruce is different. It's just a different thing that he puts into his players that makes them better than they would be for other people. And thank God we got the Bruce.
Yeah. And he said that too. Part of it too is a recruitment thing. Like, it's finding the right guys that you can put that kind of trust in. Because it's not like Wendell, he got that trust from and for Wendell in a couple of months of just like, listen, I know what kind of player you are. I need you to come play your game when you get to Auburn. Like, forget all of that. It's a lower league. Let's come hoop. You play basketball, right? All right, I need a basketball player. And he's letting him loose on the league, and he's doing his thing.
I'm just amazed at the talent evaluation of this coaching staff, how they can find a Wendell Green, and he looks like he's belonged in the SEC this whole time, right? Yeah. I'm blown away by how this staff can just find gems the way they found. I mean, I didn't know that our point guard play would be this great after Sharif left. You know what I mean? I felt like our point guard play would have taken a step back. And again, Jabari was coming in. I already know what our front court's looking like, but I had no idea that our backcourt would be as strong as it's been this year. And I think you got to credit the coaching staff for their ability to fill those needs and find those, I would say, a diamond in the rough type players. And you can do that a lot in basketball, college basketball, but the way our coach is doing it year after year, it's amazing to see. James Stallings, talk about the meme barrage last night. We kind of talked about it a little bit earlier. I don't know if B. Will saw one that stood out to him.
And I think, well, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
My favorite was, you just lost to the Jabari tribe.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Hold on.
That's good. I like that.
Black Panther.
A little Black Panther reference. I was dying. And then my second favorite was maybe he's born with it. Maybe he's Wendell Green.
Oh, yeah. I saw that.
I was dying. Oh, man. It was good. That was some good ones.
It was too many, man. I can't pin it down. I really wish I could. It was just some amazing content. I mean, a lot of them were corny, too. We need the volume, though. You know what I'm saying? We need the volume. We need to get the numbers up. So
there was another one with the Wendy's logo with Wendy, but it put Wendell Green's face in it. and it said, "Welcome to Windows. Quality W's is our recipe." That was pretty good too. His face fit inside their logo way too well. Whoever photoshopped that, I was just like, "Yo, talent. That's talent." But it was good. There were some really good ones.
Oh yeah, I did see that. The one where they had the SUNY Lee was like, "Oh, Auburn's a basketball school," and then Bruce was like, "Nope, they're gymnastics school," and then SUNY Lee was like, "Hold my beer."
Man,
yeah, that was a pretty good one. That was a pretty good one. So now we saw quite a few good memes, man. Again, Auburn Twitter. I love Auburn Twitter. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing.
Also, if we ever lose a game, now here's what we're doing. We are building up. So when we lose that game, whoever we lose it to,
it's gonna be hell.
It's gonna be vicious.
It's gonna be hell.
Everybody just log out.
Don't no, you just listen. You gotta take it. If you get to dish it out, you gotta just
you gotta be able to take it.
They don't know if you're sitting on the other side of your phone or not. So just don't tweet,
nah, you go like them.
The worst thing you can do is be like some
don't respond.
Don't respond. No. Don't get in your feelings. Nah. You lost. You lost. When you win, to the victor goes the spoils. The spoils are trash talking and meme barrages. Don't try to justify. Don't try to make it. Oh, they all in our Coliseum. Yeah, because y'all ain't want to be there. Because even y'all don't believe in y'all.
I feel a B Willism coming on about us being in the Coliseum. Is it there? Is it there? Is it there? Nah, you don't feel it. I can see it. You don't feel it in your soul.
But so that's the other thing that I did want to talk about is how well our fans traveled for this game.
Yeah,
on TV I could hear so there were portions that my son is here at the house with me, so there were points in time where I was not watching the game, I was listening to it and I was listening for reactions, and it would be a big cheer, so I would run back into the room and I'd be like, oh wait a minute, we did something good, why is it so loud?
Right.
I was it did not sound like a road game. Mm-hmm. There were very loud cheers when Bama did something, but there was enough loud cheers that it felt like there was enough home that we turned that into an Auburn home game. Yeah, and that's the other thing. They were getting on to what you call it about egging the crowd on. I think he was trying to get the
Auburn fans going. Yeah.
Let me tell you about why leadership matters. Right. Bruce Pearl has repeatedly talked about the impact of our fans traveling and what it's done to this team on some of these road games. Even in the game down at the Bahamas, we had a decent amount of fans down there at Battle of Atlantis. And he has said that. And when you look around the Auburn social media space, the players are very grateful for the fans as well, too. Right. I think Katie Johnson tweeted something out saying, hey, we could not do it without y'all. We appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
I mean, they really take on the persona of this head coach, man, and they're following his lead. I don't think that's by accident. Right. I think, for him to just be so thankful for the fans, because I'll tell you, despite what some people are trying to put out in the Twitter sphere and some of the crap I see being written, Auburn has one of the best, if not the best, fan bases in the country, right? Mm-hmm. When visiting schools come to Auburn, they talk about the experience and the hospitality and how they're treated by the fans when they come.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And so I have a hard time listening to people talk about how our fan base is toxic and, we
are hell on Twitter. Don't get me wrong, we're hell on Twitter.
Yeah, but that's on purpose, man. Right. That's not like ignorant. Yeah, but I'm just saying,
it's the internet. The internet is a toxic place. Put your phone up.
That can start with Auburn Twitter.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So, and then the effect that it's having on recruiting. Listen, I will rail against this until the day I pass. Right. This whole idea that somehow our fan base is driving away recruits is completely ridiculous and it's stupid. It's just dumb. Right. If you listen to after that national championship game, Caesar, bro, I watched Bama fans rail against the Heisman winner.
Yeah.
As if he didn't keep them in that game.
Oh, I got some screenshots of some of the things Bama fans were posting during the game, which was like it was amazing. It was amazing some of the things I saw about a fan base who has easily the greatest coach to ever coached, team was in its second straight national championship, trying to repeat the things that they were calling some of their own players.
Yeah, dogging out the I was actually pulling for the young man. I think he was a defensive back for Bama. And essentially, he went on TV and just said, "This one moment doesn't define me.
Right.
I'm going to get to work and I'm going to get back." And people were literally, even just a few people. I saw a lot of posts where people were just like trying to run this kid off.
Yeah.
And Saban in his post game said, "Hey, I want to be clear. These two young men to my left and to my right are class acts. They work their ass off for this team, and they will not be defined by this one loss."
Yeah.
Right.
Saban, though, I mean, he's spoken about how he doesn't like the entitledness of the Alabama fan base himself. He's
our fans are the most toxic. But that's the reason we can't recruit. Give me a break, man. Like I'm sorry.
Right.
Like I'm standing up for our fans because we have excellent fans. Listen, man, it is a Wednesday night in the middle of off season, and we got 400 people here on this live cast.
Right.
And this video will get 5,000 views in the off season. Right, because we have an engaged fan base. We have a fan base that cares, and you cannot take all the attention that comes with celebrity at the college level and not draw criticism from some people who just don't know what they're watching.
Right.
It comes with the territory.
Right.
It happens. So
and you can't paint an entire fan base because you saw one or two or three or four negative comments for people who just, again, to your point, don't even know what they're watching, making flippant comments. That shouldn't generalize an entire fan base or be the reason why we can get this kid who has their own mind, why they couldn't come to Auburn.
Yeah, man, that's marshmallow soft. I'm sorry. If a kid is going to say fans are mean on Twitter and that's why I'm not going there, like
how did you get through high school?
I can't subscribe to that. I'm sorry.
I get it. Listen, cyberbullying is a real thing, and some people absolutely take it too far.
Right.
But you have to understand that there is a vocal minority that exists that is going to do that, and the vast majority are not in that space. You figure out. Listen, we deal with it. We have to figure out how to filter through the noise. There are a bunch of people who hate the War Rapport. Like when I say hate. Like literally cannot stand us. Like every time we say something, it's the worst thing that ever got uttered. We could be like, Auburn's great. They'll be like, see, look at them. Sunshine pumping. See, they said they don't sunshine. I'm just like, what? We can't win with some people. So you just got to filter it out and get past
it.
It's factually. I mean, the reason we say this because we're at a low level. We're living this.
Yeah, so, I'll tell you what. I'm the most vocal, so I probably get most of it. But
you definitely do.
It's definitely you for sure.
Yeah, there's this one dum dum on Twitter that just, I mean, I don't know. Like I've never taken up so much space in somebody's head. Like he's like Mike G is a clown. Mike G, is just he's the source of all disease. Like I was like, yo, and so. I looked at some of this stuff and I was like, you
were sick a few days ago, but go ahead.
I was. But I was like, I looked at some of this stuff. I was like, you know what? This is so ridiculous. I just don't even want to look at it. So I blocked them. And I blocked everybody who liked the post because I was just like, you know what? If you like this, you
and everybody with you.
Like it. Yeah, right? And so
that's pretty smart.
Your whole MFing crew.
Yeah, it was like, and listen, now it was like 10 to 15 people, so it was not a lot. We have tens of thousands of listeners, right? But like, after I blocked those 15 people, that got rid of like 95% of the toxicity on my Twitter, right? And that is my point about the fan base. Right. It is the minority of people causing this noise, right? And so to make those voices the spokespersons for how I feel about what we do, that would be completely unfair,
right?
So I mean, again, if you're a recruit and you're watching this, Auburn has one of the greatest fan bases.
Yeah, send this to a recruit and let them hear about
we
this.
have one of the greatest fan bases ever, and very few fan bases will care as much as we do, right? Like, and all that we ask in return is that you give your all. And if you have given your best, then you know what? I applaud that. And you are a true Auburn man, right? It doesn't always work out. It doesn't always equate to championship and W's, right? Yeah. But we do care a lot, which is why we demand the best from our coaches and from our players.
Absolutely.
Right? That's it. That's all. Rant over.
All right, let me run through some super chats before we get to this giveaway. Ben Bloodworth says Bruce's legacy will last for decades because we are sending players to the NBA yearly. Absolutely, can't wait to see some of those guys host the NBA on TNT in 2045.
Hey, listen, he needs a statue outside the basketball stadium. He needs one outside the football stadium.
He got to win a championship first. Though.
He needs one. Yeah,
if he wins one, he's going to get a statue.
One outside the athletic department, one right there on College Street by a stoplight.
Do you think he gets his own facility before it's all said and done?
They might have a basketball only facility that they call the court name Pearl's Palace or something like that.
I don't know. That like what was your?
It does. That's where all the recruit. That's where we bring all of the people who want to get recruited to Pearl's Palace.
If don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's not what we're doing. That's not what we're doing.
Ben also says Auburn Twitter needs to find a way to start trolling the Illinois fan base because they're still mad about Bruce.
Are they? Get over it.
Yeah,
it's too far. It's too long ago. Get over it.
Yeah, get over it. Get over it. Okay. I mean, he should never. I mean, there's no reason for this man to ever leave Auburn, right? It should never be about money, and we know it's not about getting talent in here, right? So the whole argument that the other guy on Twitter, who's the other guy everybody hates, he's a Goodman. He's one of the Goodmans.
Who cares?
All good. I don't feel like saying. I don't feel like. Yeah,
right,
I don't feel
he was
feel like saying
after the scandal cleared. He was like, now the question is he going to go to Maryland? I was like, what? You just made that up. That's not even a thing. You just blurted something out random. What?
Well,
to Maryland?
He said they'll make a run at him. Which don't get me wrong. I'm sure a lot of programs who are,
of course, a lot of programs will make a run at a really great coach.
But that doesn't mean he has any reason to be interested.
Yeah, I just was like, man, come on, bro. Like, you literally made that up, right? Now I know that people will make a run at him when you win as much as he has. You'd be silly not to. But and the argument they were making for Maryland was the DMV area, actually where I live, is a very fertile recruiting ground for basketball, which it is. I'm not denying that it's not, but I don't think he's not having trouble getting kids to Auburn, right? At all. So why go someplace to rebuild?
Yeah, the whole recruiting myth to Auburn, he has smashed that.
Yeah,
he has smashed that because that was something that we heard a lot of prior to Bruce Pearl's arrival. Like how can Auburn really recruit? They use the Under Armour argument. They use just Auburn as a program argument, but he's dispelled all of that. So anyway, let's go ahead and get to the giveaway. It's time. Time for someone to get a he gone. Hashtag get your weight up.
Yeah.
You guys know what to do.
If you have not already entered, then I don't know what you're doing with your life.
This is brought to you by GWT2 Energy Consulting Services. That's our guy, Walt Taylor. If you watch the War Rapport, you know this is one of our favorite things to do is to give stuff away to our listeners. So
yeah, listen,
he gone t-shirt.
He is not lying about this. It is literally one of my favorite. I love giving stuff away, bro. Like it is. We're trying to figure out how next football season we can give more stuff away. We like, look, can we afford to get more stuff to give? I just like doing it, man. So listen, I want y'all to win stuff.
We tried to give away basketball tickets, but they were sold out.
Yeah.
And next season, I'm going to work really hard to get on that list to get season basketball tickets. But so hashtag get your weight up. There's over 100 of you guys in here. It's been a while since we broke 100, but somebody's going to win. Is it Corey's time or is it not? That's the question we have to ask every single live stream until it happens.
We are about to find out because I am pushing
on,
button 115.
Come on, Corey.
People.
I saw Danielle.
I saw Danielle
trying to win twice. Uh-oh.
Edward.
That's a new.
That's a new name. That's a new name.
All right, Edward. If you are still here, then you already know what you need to do. Unless you're new. If you are new, then you need to get a comment in here so we know that you are still here.
I hope you didn't do a drive-by. You just dropped the get your weight up and bounced.
All right.
Yeah. Come on, Edward. Drop us a line. We're gonna move on. But
yeah, we're looking for it. If you ain't there, we will certainly report.
Nah, he's here. He here. Hey, listen, business at the War Rapport, Edward, business at the War Rapport. Please send us your t-shirt size and your address. Do not forget your t-shirt size because I will send you whatever size I feel like it, or I guess that you are based on the amount of letters that are in your name. That's it. That's the formula. Please don't forget your t-shirt size. Business at the War Rapport. Thank you so much for being not only a listener, but a patron. So, yeah. I'm not saying that increases your chances of winning. I'm here. You are here.
Man. Sorry.
We know. Sorry.
We appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
You had an opportunity. People tried, but I get it. You're invested. It's going to happen. You got to manifest it. Even though you tried, give away an autograph pick of Mike.
Yeah, I'm going. You know what, you guys are making this a thing. I'm gonna sell this space to a sponsor. Is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put something up in the Magic Alley, and we're gonna sell it to some brand here. It's gonna be valuable space right here.
Oh man, that's funny.
You know what,
guys?
Listen, Spicy, we'll send you one, bro. We'll send you one.
For real,
how about
man.
that?
Hey.
Email us business at the War Rapport. We got you. We'll send you a shirt, bro.
He don't.
It's only right.
It is.
Well, listen. Let's move to the gridiron, guys. Auburn got some news this week. Few guys announced that they will be returning for the 2022 season. Nick Brahms and Austin Troxell are coming back to the offensive line. Of course, there's been a lot of question marks as it pertains to the tackle situation, whether it be the portal, recruiting, how Auburn's going to fill those needs, or particularly center. But Brahms and Austin Troxell will be coming back. Want to get you guys' thoughts on it. Will, I will start with you. What are your thoughts upon hearing this news? Your thoughts about the offensive line moving forward and the impact this will have in terms of the portal and recruiting?
So the way things have been shaping up with the portal, when guys commit to us, when certain guys say that they're leaving, what it looks like is, as this is Will speculation. This is not War Rapport speculation or anything else.
By the way, SS Austin says he needs a shirt of you doing the evil laugh.
Yes, absolutely. We're gonna make that happen.
We'll cook that up.
We'll figure that out. Go ahead.
What it seems to be is that they go after who they can go after, the coaches. They're recruiting. They are in kids' ear. They're talking to the parents and talking to the kids. If it looks like kids are going the other way, they default to the next step. What's the next step? Part of that next step is we're re-recruiting the guys that you have. And what this says to me is that they said, listen, we need you guys to come back. Because if you had a better center, a better left tackle, you would be bringing those guys in. A few of those offensive line recruits that did jump into the transfer portal, they committed elsewhere. So to me, it says that we're striking out at offensive line in the transfer portal, which is not a very good feeling. I don't know if it's offense, if it's scheme, if it is Will Friend as a coach is not the recruiter, the personality that can convince these guys to come here. I'm not sure. Any recruit would have reason to doubt Auburn's ability to put an offensive lineman in a good position for the draft. Doubting that is completely fair. We have not done a good job of putting offensive linemen in a good position to fare well in the draft and in the NFL. I think the one exception has been Braden Smith over the last 10 years. Greg Robinson went high, but he kind of flamed out kind of quick, honestly. But so I understand it's an uphill battle and it's a hard battle to fight. So the coaches are saying, all right, you know what? If we can't sell that yet, we get our guys back in here. We say, hey, we're going to empower you. We're going to teach you some more. We're going to make you a little bit better than you were last year. You're going to be a year wiser in the system. You're going to be a year better at communicating exactly what we want you to do. And we're going to improve. And sometimes that is a part of the game. Mike G has been talking about this forever. Listen, man, you're not going to get whoever gets in here as head coach, Harsin, you're going to have to do more with less. And the offensive line, as much as we may not like it, that's going to be one of the position groups where we have to do a little more with less than our main competitors have. That's really the biggest deal. We have to do more with less than Bama and Georgia. And honestly, LSU they're in upheaval because of the changeover, but they've gotten better talent than us pretty consistently. So that's the battle we're fighting. I'm still glad to have them because without them, it would be even more bleak. So we need them. That's the position we're in, and let's see what the coaches do.
Mike G.
I got a little bit of a different perspective on this, right? So, again, these linemen were built to do something else by another guy. One offseason of strength and conditioning is not necessarily enough to undo all the years of whatever the hell they were doing that was producing what it's produced. So another year, a second year in this offseason strength and conditioning programs might actually pay a lot of dividends, particularly in run blocking, right? Where you have to be a little bit stronger. You got to smash a little bit harder, right? And you just got to move guys, right, out the way to make lanes for your running back. So I'm excited about them coming back because, I saw in the chat some people were saying, if it's not good experience, is it really good? That's a fair statement. But I don't think that these guys have played so bad that they can't make a decent jump in year 2 with Brian Harsin. So, what does that mean for Auburn football? Well, the experience that these guys have being battle tested, coming back another year, the chemistry of having more guys who played together should yield some dividends. And then in terms of what it means about the portal, listen, there are not a ton of offensive linemen in the portal, not quality ones.
Right.
They're just not, man. That position is not rich in the portal. So the fact that
Bama has a tackle in the portal now.
Yeah,
I mean, is he a starting caliber guy? That's
right. I mean, he was a 4-star. He was a 4-star, but at the end, and he was pretty highly rated. But my point is that those guys are just jumping in the portal, man. Like offensive linemen aren't transferring for real. That's not what's happening at the skill positions, right? So I just feel like not getting portal linemen is not really a concern. Recruiting them from high school is the concern.
Right.
Yeah. So having these guys come back one more year is a blessing because the guys that you're recruiting are the ones that are going to be able to take this program and this offense to the next level. And you need another year, right? So what do you do in the meantime? We are not willing to accept losing just because you don't have an all-world offensive line. But you have to improve the skill positions. Everybody around them has to do their job and raise their game in 2022. That starts with quarterback, right? And then receiver. The tight ends, I think we're pretty solid at tight end. I saw some things in terms of run blocking, when we did the bowl game review that didn't look great from the tight end position. But at the end of the day, we've got tight ends that can go out and make plays. They can make catches. They're athletic. And they're going to be a year stronger, a year faster, and a year smarter as well too. So plug in find critical skill positions, get your skill positions right. You can't miss with this line and where they're going to be. You cannot miss it. The skill positions. You have to get it right. We have to have we have to have the best guy on the field in 2022 at quarterback, whoever it is. That's going to be critical. A decent quarterback that makes sound decisions and doesn't hold on to the ball too long and is accurate can help a struggling offensive line greatly. And that doesn't mean running all over the place. Right? Because people freak out when they say, oh, well, he's not mobile. He doesn't have to be mobile. Right? What he has to do is he has to be able to make quick decisions. Right? And when you sprint out of the pocket, that didn't always equate to good for us.
Right.
And it doesn't always equate for good to the receivers, right? We had a quarterback that just broke out to the right all the time, and it would shrink the field for the receivers.
Right.
So, there are less places to go, and then teams just figured out how to play that. We need our skill positions to step up here. And, I don't want to listen to another year of everybody saying if our offensive line isn't perfect, we can't win football games. That's crazy. Look how close we were in 2021 to something really special. We were in every game. Georgia was the only game I never believed that we could win. Look how they all ended. In some of them we gave up leads. In some of the ones we lost, we didn't even give up a whole 3 touchdowns and we lost.
Yeah.
So a little better play on that side of the ball will help cover some of the deficiencies on offensive line. But I am excited for Brahms and was it Troxel?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, coming back. I mean, these guys they can go on a redemption tour and prove their doubters wrong. Guys, if you're listening to this, man, take this shit personally. Hit the weight room and develop a winner's mentality and move mountains in 2022. Right? Any lineman that's standing in your way, get them the hell out. Make room for Tank. Make room for Jarquez. Make room for Damari Alston coming in. Right? And just forget, block out the noise if you can. But, if you're hearing it, take it, use it as motivation to do better in 2022. Because there's a lot of people saying that they can't. And I'm telling you, man, one more year in the weight room under this coach could pay extreme dividends. It could look drastically different in 2022. I'm telling you. One more year.
We saw improvement from in year one.
We did.
Listen,
they were the 4th best pass blocking unit in the conference.
And Auburn still managed to rush for over 2,000 yards for the season as a team. Guys, that's hard to do. There's a lot of really competent offenses not doing that.
Yeah, Tank was the first 1,000-yard rusher in a while, So it's, again, it felt bad because we saw the ineptitude of the offense in spells, right?
Yeah.
But for portions of games, it looked great, right? We just need to be able to do that consistently over the course of the entirety of a game. Right. And if we can do that, and again, the pass blocking, I don't think I think that was a little bit overblown last year. It wasn't perfect, but it definitely was good enough to get us W's. If we can make incremental improvements in the run blocking, that helps everything, because then
for sure,
people can't just load up against you, right? Like you get a quarterback, like as Mike was saying, that he doesn't have to be perfect. He just needs to make you pay if you try to blitz and you just throw it over the top to somebody. Make them pay every now and then. Slow down that pass rush a little bit because they have to think about it. That gives Tank just another half second more because the linebackers and that safety aren't flowing downhill immediately at the snap, right? They take that one false step forward and you throw it over the top for a couple of times. That first step is a little slower to the right.
For sure.
And that's what we could not do.
And that's all Tank needs is just that little glimmer of daylight. You give him a little bit of daylight, he's gonna make somebody pay, right? Interesting thing here that we have not mentioned, Stuart Donald, appreciate the super chat here, the Joe Bernardi hire coming in to work with the O-line.
Speak on that.
The reason why this is sneakily interesting is I wonder, listen, I will credit Brian Harsin with being a little bit of a chess player. Is he setting himself up to say, Will Friend, if you don't get the job done, we'll holler at you?
Who is Joe Bernardi? Because I don't know.
No, go ahead.
No, so he came from the NFL ranks. I forgot where he was coaching most recently.
San Jose, I think.
But the
chat knows.
Yeah, I say somebody in the chat will definitely correct me. But
the chat always knows. Thank y'all for knowing when we don't know. If it's a name we forgot, a place a guy came from, his stats from 5 years ago, y'all are gonna know. So thank you.
He was at Tennessee, and 3 seasons.
He's been in the
Oregon.
SEC. He has been in the SEC. He was an analyst at Oregon under what's his face?
Cristobal?
Yeah.
Yep.
What? I don't know if it was Cristobal.
No, it wasn't Cristobal.
It wasn't.
Oh, okay.
But he was Tennessee, Oregon, and then Fresno State in 2016.
Yeah, but my point here is that if Wilfriend, listen, the reason why I think that this is a possibility is that because Wilfriend was tied so closely with the previous offensive coordinator, is there an opportunity that Brian Harsin is looking at here to say, hey, if your heart isn't in it, I need to get somebody in here who is ready, and we'll go ahead and have him prepped and ready and getting into the system.
When would you make that move? When do you make that determination though?
I don't know.
Does the season have to start?
Sometime between signing day and spring practice, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, are you evaluating him coming out of spring?
I just don't know if you're waiting to see how he finishes out this cycle with recruits. I have no idea, but I think that it's a kind of a sneaky move to listen. If you feel like he's 1 foot out the door, then you need to get somebody in who's ready to step in.
I've wondered this. I mean, it's almost kind of like the Keesaw thing, almost. Little different, but similar.
Well, since this is the Wednesday Night War Room sponsored by AuburnSports.com, I'm going to quote JG. We did a top 10 moments of 2021 video, and one of those moments was what's his face getting fired, the wide receiver coach,
Cornelius Williams,
right? And JG gave us kind of a hot take, and he said, if you were firing coaches based on how their position groups performed, Wilfriend should have been, first on the chopping block. And he would not be surprised to hear later that conversations were being had about that. So that I raised my eyebrows. JG, doesn't normally just kind of throw things out there like that. If there's not at least something to it. So maybe, to Ike's point, maybe it is being evaluated and they've identified what they want to see from him this offseason to decide whether to move a different direction or not. But offensive line definitely has to play better. Run blocking has to improve. I just think it's really hard based on what this line was built to do to make that determination in one off season. So and that's the bone that I'm throwing back to Wilfriend. His position group was under recruited and underdeveloped more than any other position on his team.
Which again, the offensive line got better. So I'm not saying that Wilfriend's not a good position coach and he didn't make improvements. What I am saying is that he's definitely under delivering in the recruitment aspect right now.
Okay, that's fair. I mean,
yeah.
Well,
and even with that, I think 2023, and I've been consistent in saying that 2022, I'm giving a lot of these assistants a pass unless you just an ace recruiter. But 2023 is going to tell me a lot. Assuming he lasts that long, 2023 is going to tell me everything I need to know about these coaches' ability to recruit, because no longer have the excuse of saying we didn't have time to get ahead of.
Well, see, that's why I again, the Wilfriend thing is odd for me, because it's not like he wasn't at an SEC school before he got here. He should have had relationships that he could have pivoted to and said, "Hey, I'm not saying nobody followed him, but you just didn't see a lot of loyalty to Wilfriend, right? And so
and that's telling.
That's telling.
Yeah. I will say the first recruit of the 2023 cycle was an offensive lineman.
For sure.
He was a good one.
Yeah,
a very highly rated one. So that's
the number one center in the nation, right?
According to Rivals, yep.
Which is why I say he it's not like he's out the door tomorrow, but I think that he still has something left to prove to this staff.
He's on the clock. He's on the clock.
Especially, again, considering I think the reason he got hired was it was a package deal with the offensive coordinator.
Right.
Yeah. So
Brian Hancher says we need more time at offensive line and QB. We need to retain or recruit just enough to buy some time for the younger guys to get ready. I think some are here.
I agree. This rebuilding project takes time. We were hopeful in year one because of all the highly rated recruiting classes that have come through. But, at the end of the day, changing culture takes time. So it wasn't just about play and coaching and X's and O's, right? This coach is resetting the culture here, and he's sending a message to some people, and some people are opting out. I don't know if everybody saw, but Kobe Hudson is headed to UCF. And based on his statement on the way out on Instagram, that's not a shock to me.
Yeah.
Right. That he's going there. And I think that is about culture and fit. And, Brian Harsin wants to do things a certain way. And you're going to buy into the Harsin process, or you're not going to be here, I think. Or if you stay, you're going to be very unhappy. So, you got to have guys who want to play for you and can see the vision in what you're doing and believe in the vision that you have for them.
Yeah.
Right. How many times do we see a position coach try to make a guy change positions and he's like, nah, fam, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm a quarterback, or I'm a wide receiver, or I'm a tight end. A lot of guys wanted Jarquez Hunter to play linebacker. He said, nah, I'm a running back. Auburn gave him that opportunity. He's here. So, these guys, man, I'm telling you, O-line is one of those things where I just feel like a lot of the culture change it's not only in the weight room, it's just a mentality change. This is a tougher brand of football that they're trying to play, and we just weren't there physically and mentally to pull it off, but we got close to seeing what it can accomplish. Right. And I think one more offseason, 2 years, I see in the chat a lot of people are feeling like we've seen these guys for 5 years, how are they magically going to get better in their 6? Well, they've only been under this coach for 1 year.
That's true.
Right. So a second year of doing things differently could produce a different result.
Right.
Which, let me say this, I would be saying the same thing about the previous quarterback, because I saw him improve in year 1 under this new coaching staff. I would have expected him to take another leap in year 2 under this new coaching staff. Now, whether he continues to improve where he's gone to next, I have no idea.
Remains to be seen.
It's literally the same principle. If he's going to get better after a different coach gets their hands on him, then I expect him to get better again with another year under that same coaching and same system. Right. And then he would have had, an Austin Davis in here now to take him to even the next level.
Right.
So, listen, that improvement can happen when you're coached differently, especially if because, if you listen to those offensive linemen, specifically Nick Brahms, talk about how he didn't really think he understood how to play the position up until this last offseason.
Right.
That says a lot, man. Like, you can't be the center, literally the most important communicator on the offensive line, and say, you know what, this is the first time I really kind of understood what I was supposed to be doing out there.
Right.
That's sad, bro. I'm sorry. Like, listen, that's sad that you played for 3 years and this is the first time that you understood what you were doing.
Well, at times it looked like he didn't understand what he was doing.
No, it's a fact. Now, listen, his play backed up the fact that but again, he did get better this year.
We got context.
And now hopefully he takes that next step in his second year. And I'm looking forward to it, because listen, I was a very vocal Nick Brahms, what's the word that I want to say? Critic. Yes, I would say I was a critic of Nick Brahms' play. But again, I was a critic of his play. I don't know him as a person.
Seems like a good guy, amazing guy.
Yeah.
AU fan TJ says, friend of Will Friend, no McDonald's bags in the alley. NIL rules. Yeah.
NIL is a whole nother thing, man. I'm not sure I'm digging what's happening here with these $1 million deals flying around. And
but we knew this was going to happen. We knew this was going to happen.
Yeah, I'm a little shocked at how like what extreme it's gone to for some of these players, right? Like, I mean, it was being reported that Caleb Williams wanted $6 million to go to the school of his choice, and Eastern Michigan, Charlie Batch threw out a milli, like 1.5, right, for Eastern Michigan. And I'm just thinking, I'm like, wow, like, I'll tell you what, any kid who is overly focused on we see this at the pro level a lot, right? A guy works his ass off, gets paid, and then is complete trash the next season, or his play drops off significantly.
Sure.
Once he gets his check, right? And the greats know it's not about the money. They know how to stay motivated. And I just wonder if this might be the effect that it has on some college kids, that they become millionaires in college. And then
yeah.
And then the play drops off because the focus isn't there anymore.
And this is perhaps a big reason why we see a lot of guys entering the portal, because if this is a big sweepstakes for schools to try to get me, and I've made a name for myself at a big program, I can leverage NIL to get a nice sweet payday, which should also explain why you see a lot of guys in the portal.
But you know what the unintended consequence of some of that might be is the watering down of some of these programs, right? And then you do get the opportunity for a Cinderella every now and then. A team like this is what happens in basketball, right? Like you have a team that's full of people who've been there for 3 or 4 years, and they just have the experience to make a run because they've been together and they've built that synergy over years. Yes. You might find a team that is, a Cincinnati, right? If they can find synergy and they can get on a run, and then they pick up some, ridiculous star in the portal that takes them over the top, then you get an opportunity for a Cinderella run. So it might be an unintended consequence for something like that to be able to happen. Listen, we I said this in the pre-show when we were talking, we are in the era of college football free agency, right? And even though one football player, unless it's the quarterback, typically doesn't just boost your ability to be a great school, again, you get enough of those really good, experienced guys around a mercurial talent, and you can see something special happen. So it's a possibility.
Big Gap, Super Chat here. Appreciate you, man. Shout out to my War Rapport bros. I wonder who will be the first player to get an NIL deal from.
Hey, listen, I'm only giving deals to linemen and more linemen, right? If once we start paying out NIL deals, let me tell you, we
gotta get off these jobs.
We'll be well off. We'll be well off these jobs
well before I pay a college athlete.
Right. I'm offering linemen, bro. Come do a War Rapport sponsorship and be a 5-star lineman on this line. So
for real,
yeah, we'll help you recruit.
For sure. Well, listen, guys, we want to appreciate y'all for hanging out with us.
Wait, hold up. Y'all ain't gonna get out of here without talking about this final season tally. Y'all out y'all minds. Come on now. Don't do that.
It wasn't on the schedule. I didn't know we was gonna talk about it tonight.
That's right.
No, we got it loaded. Do we have it loaded?
I didn't load it. I didn't know we were supposed to be talking about it.
When else we gonna talk about it?
We can talk about it Sunday. We're gonna talk about it Sunday.
You can tell who won.
We already knew you was gonna win.
None of y'all won. I won, so y'all gonna.
Hold on. Let me be clear. I already knew I wasn't gonna win, so I wasn't worried about it.
Yep, I was right beside him. Right beside him. It came down to the wire between you and Caesar.
Yeah,
to the wire.
You want a cookie?
I had a victory speech planned, but still.
Yeah, so let's play that Grammy music real quick. Got a speech plan.
We're giving the wrap it up box.
I know, right? play the Sandman music while you talking.
We'll do it Sunday, huh? All right.
Yeah, we'll do it Sunday.
We'll do it Sunday. Yeah, none of us will be here, but we can do it Sunday. Well, Mike G, man, take it away, man. Tell people what they need to do in this off season by becoming a patron.
Become a patron, drink some Patron, do your thing, join the War Rapport.
Patron is terrible, by the way.
Why does he keep
unless Patron wants to come sponsor us?
Right. In that case, it's delicious. Right. Don't be blasting potential sponsors, Ike. So become a patron, join our community. Lots of green names in the chat. They're the most active names in the chat here. A few black names, but we love our black names too. We want everybody to join the community. This is the best way to support our content, help keep us viable in the off season. January to July, we are the hardest working content creators, and we all have full-time jobs, people. 4 full-time careers here, man, and we are working hard to do this and bring you guys close to over a video a day. So, we're on the pressers. We're credentialed media with the university. We're doing our thing, just trying to keep you guys informed, educated, and entertained. Help support us. We really appreciate this low monthly financial commitment. And the power of community is that no one person has to do all the heavy lifting. but many can achieve a great thing by every one of us doing a little. So become a patron, help us, keep this thing going. We're partnered with the Lee County Humane Society to raise money for a good cause. Please donate to them. You can find this link in the About section of our YouTube channel. 50 cents on every dollar goes to them to help them #save all the puppies. I have a rescue. Ike has a rescue. This is some of the good that we've chosen to put back into the world. So we appreciate you guys for in advance for donating to them. Let's show them some love. They're part of the Auburn community and the Auburn family. They need us and we need them. Congratulations to our raffle sponsor, our raffle winner tonight. We had a brand new winner. So if you don't know, now you know. #get your weight up. Every live cast, we are giving away something. This tonight, it was a He Gone t-shirt. Could be a mug, could be a hoodie. The Lobtown hoodies are hot. Our guy, Infinite Auburn, that's Chase Holden, 1-1. So we want you guys to win. Just a little thank you for joining us. We are on podcast. Check us out on podcast, people. We're on every single podcast platform. That's Apple, Spotify, Podbean, SoundCloud. We are out here putting more content out as promised in 2022 in these podcast streets, taking out every single contender. The challenges, the War Rapport, and the podcast game. We are there. And
this ain't AEW wrestling, man. Would you stop?
Challenge.
All right. And we have some potential sponsors that will be coming on. I think you guys will be excited. It's because that you guys engage and listen and talk with us every single week that we are able to get corporate sponsors and local business sponsors to help us build our content. I hope you can see from the product that we put out that we take a lot of those dollars and put it back into the product that you guys get twice a week on these live streams. There's nobody doing this like this, right? I can tell you, I watch a lot of other podcasts and we are not being outworked by anybody out here. So help us continue to grow. If you look in the description of our videos, you'll see a link to each one of our sponsors. Support us by also supporting them. So, if you need tools, get them from Ace Hardware. If you want recruiting news, go to auburnsports.com. Check out our guy, JG, and check out the Brain Drain, right? Just watch him and support him. He was an early believer in what we were doing. GWT2 Energy. Walt was a very early believer and supporter in what we were doing. We appreciate all these guys immensely for the support that they've given us to help us get us to this point. Shout out to Ethan Daw. He has financial advisor. He advertises with us for the season. We really appreciate him as well. And now Prize Picks. So if you haven't heard, we are sponsored by prizepicks.com. We moved on from BUSR. We thank them for the support during the season. But we are now partnered with Prize Picks for like a daily fantasy segment where you can have an entry. And if you had followed along with Ike, you could have won some money on this Bama game.
That's true.
Right.
That's
so
true. Could have won you a couple dollars.
We're putting a Prize Pick segment out before every single basketball game for the rest of the season, and we thank them for being generous and coming on as a sponsor to help us grow. And you can support us by supporting them as well too. They're in our About section as well. There's a link there. If you just so happen to go sign up for Prize Picks, use code Rapport. So just Rapport in there. You get 100% match on your first deposit up to $100. So put in 100, get 100. Put in 50, get 100, right? Like we really appreciate everybody who's going to go do that. That's kind of a fun way to do fantasy, and put a little money on the line, right? So like I liked it. I enjoyed following it along, watching Ike's metrics to see if we hit it. What we needed plus 14 points from Jabari, and we needed 2 threes from KD, and we needed 2 free throws from Shackelford.
Yep.
And we only had to meet 2 of the 3 metrics to win money. And we hit the Jabari metric and the Shackelford metric. KD took 5 threes and hit 1 of them.
Yeah.
If he had just sunk 1 more, it would have been 3 for 3. It was really fun. So shout out to prizepicks.com. Go check them out for all your daily fantasy fun.
Yes, sir.
And guys, you can also continue to support us by sharing this video, guys. On social media, please be sure to use hashtag Get Your Weight Up, whether it be Facebook or Twitter. It means a lot to help us grow our community, help expose other people to our content as well. Also, guys, please be sure to like this video. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Also, for you who want to follow us on social media, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, we're at The War Rapport. And for those of you who use TikTok, we are at TW Rapport. That's it for now, guys, but we definitely have more content on the way. We'll see you guys this weekend for our live show. But until then, have a great rest of your week. And as always, War Eagle.
War Eagle.
War Eagle.